1954. A woman named Patricia leaves a building on Michigan Avenue in Chicago. She's wearing a charcoal wool coat. The collar is turned up. Her heels are 2 inches. She is not the most striking woman on that block, but as she pushes through the revolving door and turns left, something happens. The man at the front desk looks up. The 2 women near the elevator turn slightly, not toward anything they can name, toward her. She is walking. That is all. 13 things she knew about how to inhabit a body. None required a gym, a trainer, or anything that wasn't available for under $2 at the 5 and dime. Stay with me, because number 1 is not a rule. It is what every other rule on this list was built on. The women who had it were nearly impossible to copy without being taught it. Let's count down. Number 13, the belt. Before shapewear. Before design tricks involving seam placement and strategic ruching and fabric that cost $200 and promised an illusion. There was a belt. Every dress, every skirt and blouse combination. The housecoat, if she was at home for the day. The waist was never left undefined, not because belting was fashionable, though it was, but because she understood the visual logic underneath it. The eye goes where the waist is. Define the waist and the proportions around it rearrange themselves. The bust appears fuller. The hips read wider. The silhouette gains a shape the garment alone does not have. A leather belt at Sears, Roebuck in 1954, $1.49. The shapewear garments currently marketed to produce the same effect run between $40 and $90 are visible under fitted clothing and must be removed at the end of every evening. The belt takes 4 seconds to fasten. It was not the entire answer, but it was the fastest one available, and she knew it. Number 12, the 3/4 sleeve. She did not spend the summer fighting with her arms in the mirror. The upper arm from elbow to shoulder is the part of the arm most women are most self-conscious about. The 3/4 sleeve ends at the elbow or just below it. It reveals the forearm and wrist, which are the narrowest parts, and covers everything above. It also lengthens the visual line of the arm. A full-length sleeve stops at the wrist, and the eye stops there too. A 3/4 sleeve creates a line that continues. The hand reads as a natural extension. The wrist appears narrower than it is. The arm looks longer than it measures. A butterick sewing pattern for a 3/4 sleeve blouse. 35 cents in 1953. Most women made their own. The fit was exact because they cut it to their own measurements, not to a size on a tag. It was not a trick. It was proportion. Those are not the same thing. Number 11, the 1 accessory rule. 1 thing at a time. A scarf or a brooch or gloves. Not all 3. Not 2. 1. In 1954, a Bakelite brooch in deep coral at Woolworth's cost 35 cents. She pinned it to the lapel, looked at the mirror, and left. That was the whole accessory decision. The logic is architectural. When one piece has the room, it can be noticed. The eye lands on it and stays. When the eye is pulled in 4 directions at once, the earrings, the necklace, the bracelet stack, the statement scarf, nothing survives the competition. The woman who wore 7 things at once was described as put together by people who could not name a single thing she was wearing when they got home. The woman who wore 1 thing clearly was remembered, a set of layered bracelets at a modern boutique, $45 for pieces that compete with each other all day. 1 brooch. That was the rule. The confidence to stay inside it was the practice. Number 10, the color anchor. Every outfit had 1 neutral piece that asked for nothing. Not the focal point, the ground, a cream A-line skirt, a white button-down, 1 good piece that caught the light exactly once. The neutral held the composition together without participating in it. The single piece with color or pattern sat against the ground and had room to work. 2 prints worn together do not coexist. One absorbs the other and neither survives the pairing. She knew before she opened the wardrobe which role each piece would play, focal point or anchor, never ambiguous. An A-line wool skirt in cream at Sears in 1954, $4.98. The decision about what it went with was made once when she bought it. She did not renegotiate it every morning in front of an open closet. Number 9. The hem. She did not wear clothes that hadn't been altered. The hem length on a ready-to-wear garment is set for a proportional average. She was not a proportional average. Nobody is. A hem 2 inches above the natural balance point for a given pair of legs makes the leg look shorter. 2 inches below it lengthens the visual line. The difference is not a matter of style preference. It is geometry. Singer sewing thread ran 9 cents a spool in 1953. A half hour of hemming. Every dress she bought, every skirt, was taken up or let down before she wore it outside the house. I had 3 pairs of trousers hemmed in the same week once. They looked like different garments afterward. They were the same garments. Only the geometry had changed. Most women today buy something, feel vaguely wrong in it, assume the problem is the body and keep wearing it. The problem, most of the time, is the hem. Number 8. The shoes. A 2-inch heel is not a cosmetic choice. A 2-inch heel tilts the pelvis slightly forward, which establishes the lumbar curve, which allows the upper back to lengthen, which brings the shoulders into a neutral position they do not reach as easily in flat shoes. The entire structure of the posture changes from the floor up. Not dramatically, but measurably. She did not wear heels only because she was told to, though she was. She wore them because the posture they produced was structurally different from what she had without them. Every photograph from 1952 confirms this. The women are not fighting the shoes. The shoes are doing something the body is willing to cooperate with. A pair of naturalizer pumps, 2-inch heel in navy, $5.95 at the shoe department in 1953. They lasted 4 years. The heel was re-tipped twice. The first 8 items on this list are about what she put on. They can be changed tomorrow. What follows is different. These are things the body learned over years, things she no longer noticed she was doing. That is where this list changes. Number 7. The mirror check. Before leaving the house, front, side, back. Not a ritual of self-examination, a quality check. She wanted to see exactly what everyone else was going to see for the next 8 hours, and to correct it, while correction was still possible. The back is the half most women never look at. The seam of the skirt, the hem from behind, the way the jacket sat across the shoulder blades. Women who check the front and leave miss everything visible to the room for the entire rest of the day. I started doing a quick version of this, 90 seconds every day before I leave. I catch things now I would have walked out wearing: the back of the collar, the hem of the jacket against the seat of the trousers. It takes less time than I assumed and costs exactly what a mirror already in the house costs. She did this as a matter of course. It was not special. It was the standard before you left. Number 6, how she sat. She did not sit against the back of the chair. 2 inches of space between her spine and the backrest. This is not comfortable in the first weeks. It requires a small, continuous correction. After several months, the body adjusts, because this position is actually closer to the spine's neutral alignment than a slumped recline. The muscles learn it. They stop needing to be reminded. Every photograph of a woman at a table in 1953 shows the same thing. The spine is vertical. The shoulders are neither forced back nor collapsed forward. It is not military, not rigid, simply upright, because she had been sitting this way long enough that anything else would have felt wrong. It was not willpower. It was a habit so old it no longer felt like one. Before we get to number 1, tell me in the comments which of these is already in your life, not which one you intend to try, which one is actually already there. Leave the number. I'll be reading. 5 items left. Number 1 is not a rule. It is what every item before it was built on top of. And it is not something you can see. In 1952, Deportment instruction was still part of the standard curriculum in most American girls' schools. Not as a finishing school luxury, as routine. Walking correctly. Sitting. Rising from a chair correctly. The programs were quietly removed from most curricula between 1965 and 1975. No announcement, no replacement. The girls who learned it before 1965 still moved differently. The ones who didn't were never told what they missed. Number 5, walking from the hip. The hip initiates the step, not the knee. Each stride begins with the hip joint swinging forward, the thigh follows, the knee follows, the foot places. This is how the body was designed to move. It is also, not coincidentally, how a woman walking this way reads to everyone around her. Unhurried, occupying the full range of the joint, the whole body moving as a single unit from shoulder to heel. Modern walking is mostly knee-initiated. The stride is shorter, the swing is narrower, the torso stays still while the legs work underneath it. It is efficient. It is unremarkable. She walked as if the motion itself was worth the room, not as performance, because she had been taught that the way she moved through a space was part of how the space received her. She practiced it until it no longer required a decision. At some point after that, it was simply how she walked. A word before number 4. Everything in this video is the short version. The full routines, the dress habits, the daily beauty rituals, and the homemaking practices she ran on are at nostalgiawomen.com. 150 pages. I will not mention it again. Number 4, the standing position. She did not stand with both feet parallel and both hips square. One foot slightly forward. Weight primarily on the back foot. The body rotated 5 to 10 degrees oblique to whoever she was speaking with. This is a small hip turn, barely visible as a gesture, and it changes the entire reading of the silhouette. The body becomes less square, less static. The waist appears defined without any garment making the argument. The hips read differently from either foot. It is the position of every woman in every portrait from the 1930s through the 1950s. It was not an artistic convention. It was the standard resting stance of a woman who had been taught how to stand, absorbed it over years, and no longer thought of it as anything other than standing. Number 3, the daily mirror time. 10 minutes. Every morning before dressing. A full-length mirror, Sears sold one for $12.95 in 1954, placed somewhere with natural light. She stood in front of it not looking for flaws, not cataloging them, looking for information. She knew her proportions with the precision of a tailor, which colors sat near her face and aged her, which necklines shortened the neck, which waist height sat wrong on her frame. She had made the mistakes and stopped repeating them because she had been present enough at the mirror to notice the pattern before it became permanent. What you don't look at, you cannot correct. She looked. Number 2, the neckline. The neckline is the frame closest to the face. In every conversation, every room, it is the first thing seen. She chose it the way a painter chooses a frame, not as an afterthought, but as a decision that changes what the viewer sees above it. A V-neck draws the eye downward and lengthens the neck visually. A jewel neckline creates a frame close to the face that emphasizes it. A wide scoop widens the shoulder. A boat neck does the same. A Peter Pan collar narrows and draws the eye upward. A Peter Pan collar blouse at Sears in 1953, $2.49. She bought it because she understood what her face needed around it, and the collar she chose was correct. The modern answer to every neckline uncertainty is to add a necklace. A necklace papers over the question rather than answering it. She didn't have a jewelry problem. She made a neckline decision once and wore it with the confidence of someone who already knew the answer. 12 items: the belt, the heel, the chair she sat on the edge of, The 2 inches between her spine and the backrest, the hip that initiated each stride. Everything before number 1 is something specific, a sleeve length, a sitting position, a habit in front of the mirror. You can start any of them this week. Number 1 is what those items were expressions of. The assumption underneath every other rule on this list. Almost nobody who had it knew they had it, because it had been in them long enough that it felt like personality rather than practice. Number 1, deportment. She didn't have good posture. She had trained posture. Deportment was taught in schools, in physical education programs, in finishing classes that ran through the 1950s. Girls balanced books on their heads to calibrate the neck and shoulder. They were taught to sit away from the backrest, rise from the hip, move through a room as if the movement was worth making well. Women trained this way did not carry themselves differently because they were disciplined. The training had become automatic. It felt like nothing. It had been everything long enough. That is what Patricia had on Michigan Avenue. Not a gift, a trained body. It is not natural. It is built. 13 things, not one required a gym, a trainer, or a mirror you don't already own. Was there a woman in your life who moved through a room differently than everyone else? Not louder, differently. Your grandmother, an aunt, a teacher. Leave her in the comments. Tell me where she was from and what you remember.